Because if you're in a $700,000 home because it's appreciated, right?
Hmm.
It's just gone up, but you only owe 400 grand and your insurance covers 400 grand, your house burns down, you only get 400 grand to go buy another house. I have found to be really valuable is showing people the upgrades visually. We do a piece of art for our homeowners that we make, and then on the back has their warranty and their shingle information, because more than likely they'll hang it in their home and people will ask about it.
Welcome back to another episode of Construction Tech Talk, where we blend the traditions of the trades with the innovations of the future. We got a special guest today. We got Jen Silver, superstar in the house. She's been a little MIA on us, so I figured I'd bring her in to see what Jen's been up to. What's up? What's good, Jen? How we doing?
Been really good. I know I've been MIA, and part of that has been selfishly, and part of it has just been due to work. The selfish side, sometimes it's nice to be private and have your own private life. And I've been pretty transparent since the beginning. I don't love social media at all. And it was nice to take a break and focus on the things that I wanted to focus on. But I'm sure it's left people with, oh, Jen Silver disappeared, or, oh, various different rumors. So I'm happy to put some of those to bed.
Yeah, hey, I'm glad too. And then Jen, I've always been a fan. I remember, I don't even know how many years ago it was, but you really came on the scene when you started doing the financing approach for insurance work. And this was years ago, and this is something that I'm trying to push my contractors to do now too, to follow in your footsteps, but they still refuse to do so. They must love that insurance process. Hey, what do you think's going on
It's a
there?
big mindset shift. It's a cultural shift. It's a mentality shift. And the challenge that I have seen is most people, when they look at it, they look at it like it's the financing, and debt carries negative connotation for most human beings, including sales reps. And I recently, this is not unique to roofing, right? This is actually something that transcends into our culture, because I've noticed how much people bring their money issues conversations with consumers, right?
Hmm.
Instead of looking at it like it's an opportunity for them and what else they could do with the money and the savings from a compound interest rate to a straight interest rate, or allowing them to do something that they wouldn't have been able to do before. You have to really approach it from that standpoint and believe it, that it is better for the consumer. And it's not in all cases. Not every person is right to finance, right? Some people pay with credit cards. We've seen a lot more credit cards in comparison to financing over the last few months, or last year, probably due to interest rates, right? Our
Hmm.
financing rates are high, with what we are used to culturally, especially after COVID. I don't think interest rates will ever get that low again. And it's definitely not as high as it was in the 80s, but we have to get a little more comfortable talking about payments and how people are going to get through the next few years. I
Hmm.
don't, from a retail side, if you don't offer financing, I'm not sure how people will be able to continue to pay for their roofs, especially if labor goes up as much as it could, depending on what happens with immigration. There's just, it's a complicated, interesting time in roofing, and you have to be creative and lots of different opportunities and avenues. But the approach always has to be what's best for the consumer, and
A
not
hundred
how do I,
percent. A hundred
right?
percent. So, but like, okay, for example, I'm out in Colorado. It's almost all insurance work, right? And
Yep.
when I mention, hey, why don't you, tier up your different systems, a good, better, best. You do the upgrades, you add in the financing, right? And for five hundred
Yep.
dollars a month or whatever it is, they get a great roof, right? Car payment basic, but people are very hesitant to do that. I get it, it's a cultural thing, but I mean, don't you think you could increase your average ticket size, decrease your AR, right? I mean, is there so many
Well, yeah,
benefits?
you have no AR, right?
Yeah.
Almost virtually nothing. Yes, you could increase your ticket size, but that requires people to sell, right? Right now, what we call roofing salespeople are really more customer liaisons and order takers, right?
Hmm.
They don't all I don't want to like generalize and say nobody, right? Because I realize I'm generalizing, but for the most part, the majority of them don't know how to do a value add or value proposition or sell the quality, or why would someone choose that roofing company over another roofing company, right? And most of the time, the answer is quality. Well, they do quality, right? We have to be better at articulating who we are and why before they can actually sell quality. I always suggest to the companies that I coach, ask your consumers of price, time, and quality in a roof, what's the most important to them, right?
100%.
Most people are going to tell you quality. And if you go in, with, let's use GAF just because most people understand, a golden pledge and a silver pledge or, different warranties, right? So let's say you go in with a silver pledge warranty and the homeowner barks, oh my gosh, you're so much higher. Okay, well, Mr. Homeowner, you told me quality, so I put together this quality roofing package. If economic is what you want, I have an economic package I can put together. So now you have the opportunity to get back in front of the homeowner. Plus, you're making them think about the fact that everybody else is probably offering a standard economic roof and that you ask those questions in advance. Another thing
100%.
that I have found to be really valuable is showing people the upgrades visually.
I like that.
So whether you're and if you don't have a 3D model type of software you can use, like me, I don't have one. I use Canva.
I love Canva. That's what we
I do
use too for the
too.
presentations.
And
Yeah, it's great.
we have a picture of their home and the different shingle colors, on their roof. Yes. Is it perfect? No. Right. But then we've got little hardy accent colors at the bottom so that they can see how to change the exterior aesthetics of their roof. People or of their home just based on their roof. It's things like that that take us apart from everybody else. Why would you choose Roofing Utah? Well, we talk to our customers on a remotely daily basis. You have complete access to everything that we are doing through our company cam link. We
Hmm.
and then in addition to that, here's our quality assurance checklist that we complete. The end you will get, we do a piece of art for our homeowners that we make, and then on the back has their warranty and their shingle information, because more than likely they'll hang it in their home and people will ask about it, right?
I
Like
like that.
little tricks and things like that that make you a different type of roofing company. Yes, we all put roofs on, right? But why do people buy from us?
Hmm.
And if someone's a master elite, then that's what they utilize, right? And here's the warranties that we can offer that other companies can't. Or if you have a physical location, that's another great one, because a lot of roofing companies don't. We have an office. If you want to come into the office and meet with us, we're here. We're going to be in business. It just depends on how you see your company and your culture, but we do not do a very good job of articulating our brand. And if we can't articulate our brand and our value, we can't sell.
So really, it's a sales problem, right? You're basically saying with insurance work, you almost don't even have to sell. It's like, hey, we're going to replace your roof for free. So once you switch to that other model, all of a sudden now you actually have to become a salesperson. And like, what have you noticed from the people that set out great salespeople with this model? What are they doing differently? Is it just like you're saying, portraying value, presentation? Is there anything else that's like, hey, they're actually a salesperson?
Reading your customer, I think, is the number one thing,
Hmm.
right? I know Deshaun talks about the dogs. I talk about birds because to me, birds are really easy. And if you can understand that person from the second they open the door, because it genuinely is from the second they open the door, right? A red or an alpha personality or a bulldog or an eagle, whatever it is, they're going to open the door with authority. They're going to
Hmm.
look you in the eye, right? They're going to be straightforward and articulate. That person is about time and money, and you have to understand that going into it. And they are not engaged in the conversation until they start asking you questions. Otherwise, they're just dismissing pretty much what you say. The next
Yep.
one, the person that wants to build a relationship, they're going to open the door very gregariously. Hey, how are you? Oh, who are you? Right? It's a different feel. Well, that person, you better find something in the first 20 seconds to identify with them and connect with them, whether it's something on their front door, something you can see in the background, their shirt, but they need a connection, right? The dove or the non-buyer, non-decision maker, they open the door kind of meek and kind of peek out, and they're like, who are you? What are you doing? Super nice, but never make decisions and usually ghost you, right? So identifying who is the decision maker in that house and how do you get to them, and if they don't live with them, how do you find them? Because sometimes it's a kid, right? Or a parent
Yeah.
or a neighbor, and you have to figure that out. And then the last one is the what I call an owl, but the homeowner that has all the questions and the clipboard and 20,000 different things that they want to know. And the biggest thing to know about them is don't lie to them. Don't pretend like you know what you don't know. Find out the information and don't be afraid to give them as much information as they want, and don't expect them to
Absolutely.
make a decision that day, right? Like there's just different things. And if you, as a salesperson, if you can identify and adapt in the moment, those are the ones I believe are most successful.
Yep. And I love that because it's taking the roofing sales to the next level, right? It could be a disc assessment, whatever it might be, but be able to be receptive and match whoever that customer is, right? Chances are, if you're very, very vocal, you love to have conversations, you're probably going to be selling people that are similar to you more often than not. To make a difference, now it's being able to take your approach and to be able to mimic whoever that customer is if they're more analytical, right? It's giving them the information that they need, right?
Correct.
So this is, I mean, this is how you got, on the scene. You blew up quick too, Jen. I mean, I remember it, right? You were kind of all over there.
It
And
was so,
really it was, I
yeah.
bet. I can only imagine because you were everywhere, right? And I mean, I'm still a believer in what you were preaching because I'm still
Well,
preaching
and
it over here.
I had one way, right? Like I knew my way is not the only way. It doesn't even mean that it was something that other people haven't done in the past, right? My entire goal was to just get people to think that there could be something different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether they ever choose to do it or not, kind of like you, it still lingers in the back of people's minds, right? What is that model? Should I look at that? Should I not look at that? And that's the shift towards change, right? Is just starting the conversation that it doesn't always have to be what we.
100%. You can do differently. And the thing is, I think with the insurance work, just trying different approaches is it's a very proactive approach because everything's changing so rapidly that it's a
Yes.
way to protect yourself, remove your AR issues, right? And close more deals. It's another resource. You got to be thinking, right? I mean, a homeowner might not have 30 grand to spend on a roof, right? But financing,
Most
they
people
love.
don't.
Most people don't, right? But they love financing. If they can keep the lump sum from the insurance company, they're not gonna be mad about that. So,
Right.
what have you been up to lately? It's been a while. I mean, I think the last time I saw you, were you at that? I think I went to the Nuggets game with you. Didn't we sit in the box with
Yeah,
somebody?
that was in with was that with Beacon?
I think so. I think something like that. I don't even remember, but it's a good time though.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
So last year in May, my son-in-law, I was working on transitioning the company to him. There's a big difference between being a general manager and an owner, and it's
Mm-hmm.
for some people and it's not for some people. And we discovered he just wasn't there, and they wanted to move to Missouri, and I didn't want him or my daughter to feel like they were stuck because of a company that I started. So I came back in May and took the company back over. They moved to Missouri, which really sucked because they took my grandson, but
Well,
that's okay because I've been in Missouri a lot over the last year visiting. And I've been working with a chemical manufacturer on a rejuvenating product to be able to offer it to every contractor who wants to buy it without having to buy a franchise.
So what got you into that? Was it basically just trying to find the next challenge, or you just kind of saw the next solution that you wanted to bring to the people that you know so well? Like how did that come about?
So I'm a future thinker, right? Of okay, what is likely going to happen next with all of the spinning plates? We've seen the changes in policy that I've been talking about were coming. Roof, exclusions, increased goals, more ACV policies, more roof depreciation, policies, all kinds of different things. So now what are they going to do, right? More than likely, everything will probably, well, not everything, a lot will move to repair. They're going to dig their heels in the sand on repair, and they will
Oh
find
yeah.
contracts that will repair it. I can see them giving discounts to homeowners for various things, whether it's on their, what am I trying to say, deductible or not.
Hmm.
But I think we need to have a solution for repairs. And I fully believe with the labor station. Now, Colorado and Utah, we're not necessarily experiencing that right now. I have talked to some contractors in other states though, and there are places where you can't find a Hispanic person anywhere.
Mm.
And a lot of fear is being generated, right? And that transition to labor the way that the president sees labor going is going to be painful and expensive. And so, in the interim, we have to have a product offering that anybody can do, and make good money on. A big investment. Like
Hmm.
I love what, let's use Ugly Roof for example, because I think they're great people and they supported the tour and all that stuff. I love their product and I love what they're doing, but I hated that the barrier to entry was 60 grand, right? Like for most of us that are littler, under 3 million, $60,000 is not worth even
It's a
trying.
lot.
It's a lot, right?
Oh yeah.
So I wanted a solution for the little guys because that's obviously who I am. And we are the most vulnerable in the industry to go out between private equity and the large conglomerates. So if I can give an option where they can offer this and the barrier for entry is low, now they can compete and have another offering. To I have no idea what kind of chaos it's going to be in case they need it.
Yeah.
Like I think we will need it, but that's really where it came from.
It's like you said, you like to see the trends, analyze, and then prepare in advance, right? And so I
Right.
love what you're doing. Like you're saying, 60,000 to get into a franchise to offer some kind of rejuvenation product can be pretty hefty. But when you're looking at it, if you have, do you have some information you want to share too,
Yeah,
like
I'll send
website or
I'll
anything?
send you some stuff too so that you can add it. But essentially what we've done is we put together a system where you can use a backpack sprayer, okay? And your backpack sprayer holds 4 gallons of material. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you buy a gallon, you're going to use a gallon of water, right? And 1 gallon of concentrate does 2 squares. So you can buy it in a 1 gallon bucket, you can buy it in a 5 gallon bucket. It ships directly
Hmm.
to you. You dilute it in your sprayer. We have a suggested ladder hoist that you can buy off of Amazon that's $40 to attach to your ladder. You hoist it up, you put it on your back, and you do it, right? This is
Hmm.
something that literally anybody can do.
Yeah.
Um, I,
And
I, go ahead.
no, you're good. Keep going. Keep rolling.
We want to sell direct to contractors. We if we can get it into some supply shops, then I will work on that too. But initially, I'd like to send direct to contractor and keep the price down. With the backpack sprayer and everything, you're probably set up maybe $1,000 out the door,
I
and
mean,
then
that's
it's
pretty
just
solid.
product,
Hmm.
right? And if you don't like it, the risk is not as high. If it's not something you want to offer, or you decide you don't like doing it or whatever, then you're not out a whole bunch of money. And that backpack sprayer you can sell on eBay or whatever your, what is it, Craigslist. We have something different in Utah, so I can
Access.
never think of what those places are. But you could sell it to somebody spraying pesticide or fertilizer. It's such a like versatile piece of equipment, and practical. It made a lot more sense to me. And then if you want to invest, hey, this is a killer product, we're killing it, and you want to invest and go and buy a bigger sprayer, then cool, you can do that. And you have the opportunity at that point. That's
100%.
that's what I wanted to do.
So let's kind of talk about it as, a business strategy standpoint. So if you're a contractor, we talked about financing. Now, when you're looking at incorporating another product, a roof rejuvenation product, what does that do at like a lead standpoint, opportunity standpoint for you as a
Well,
business?
you're gathering more customers for the future, right?
Mm,
If during the short term replacements are hard for people, then get in there and get something done to get them where they need to be, because you will be the person they call back, right? And if
hmm
they're not in that home, that's okay. You can go drop a mailer off and say, hey, we rejuvenated the roof 4 years ago. You're about down to one more year. We just would like to schedule an inspection and see if you need either another application or if it's time for a replacement at that time.
See, so now it's an entire strategy, right? So now it's helping you generate leads, and then of course, a customer who's used to paying you is going to pay you again, right? And then if I had to guess, the profit margins are probably pretty
They're
good
crazy,
too,
right? If
right?
you're looking from a price standpoint, your material cost is probably going to be about $50 a square.
hmm
That's total, right? That's not just the rejuvenator, but I'm like taking into account like shoes, like you should have scuff free shoes, right? So if you have a foam bottom, like I'm looking at all of the little different things. $50 is probably high. I think the cost of the rejuve is about 68 or $69 a gallon, which does 2 squares, because
That's
water
pretty
is
good.
for the most part free.
That's pretty.
So then it's just labor, right? And if you're charging, I don't know what normal per square prices are, but in every region they seem to be different, right? So let's use an average of 500 a square free roof, then you can charge 150 or 200 for a rejuve, give them a 5 year, time frame to save up, or whatever you want to do. I mean, really creative contractors could even allow people to pay into a trust account in advance, like a savings account towards their roof. I mean, there's so many different ways to navigate it. That
So
part
many
would be
ways.
a little scary as a consumer unless the contractor had that money secured and the right contracts to be able to get the money back, right? Like
hmm
I understand what that looks like. It's almost like a warranty account. But there are ways that you can do things like that. Hey, pay $20 a month and you're going to get 50% off of your roof in 5 years.
100%.
Right?
So,
Like, and again, you're
hmm
you're building into your future business to secure those people for that time.
Contractors, stop letting budget overruns eat into your profits. Download our free construction estimate template and take control of your projects. It's fast, easy, and proven to help contractors win more jobs and save time. Don't miss out. Click the link in the show notes to get started now.
And it's all about, getting your database, right? Prospects, customers, you kind of name it, partners, referral partners, all that kind of stuff, segmenting that list, and then using that list to generate more business. And I think that's one thing not enough contractors are doing. But with tools like the roof rejuvenation product, that's a perfect segment right there, right?
Right.
Of people that you can retarget, remarket, get reviews, get new business, get referrals, you kind of name it, to put value back in your business.
Well, and partnering with like realtors, like people
Mm-hmm.
that need a spruce up right before the listing, or certain people like that make a lot of sense, because you may not know the homeowner now that's going to live there because they're selling it. But again, you've got a home that that you applied it to, and you can continue to market to the resident no matter who lives there, because it's a little bit different.
So I mean, how I haven't talked to you in a while. So like, how involved are you in the roofing business now? Are you kind of out of the roofing business, more focused on this? Are you
Oh
kind of
no.
splitting up? You're all in on both.
Yeah, my fiance moved to Utah last
Hey,
August,
hey, you're
and
getting married.
I am
You're getting
getting married.
engaged.
And
Congrats.
yes, thank you. I'm very excited. He moved to Utah in August, and so we've been running the company together. And he has another job that he does as well part-time, but that has been a blast. Some people work really well together and understand strengths and opportunities and don't fault the other for what is missing, and some people don't. And I know where my strengths are and I know where his strengths are, and we have just done an amazing job of creating great customer relationships. I mean, again, I haven't paid for marketing expenses in 5 years, since 2019. No, since
Wow.
2021. 2021 is the last time I paid for marketing, right?
And so explain
I have,
that. Explain that, because I mean, people struggle with marketing, right? People hate marketing, and you're
well,
telling
they
me you're
can
not
lapse
spending.
marketing and branding, and those are two very different things, right? And they honestly, you can't categorize them even the same, because your marketing expenses should be able to give you a predictable ROI. Your
Mm-hmm.
branding does not, right? It's not a
100%.
predictable ROI. It is, yes, I can now see 3 years down the road, right, how much the branding did back in 2021 for our business, but in 2021 I could not measure it. So those are the biggest differences between marketing and branding. And from a marketing standpoint, I have business cards, right? That's technically a marketing expense, but I
Yep.
have them. And the catch-all was purchased years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't have any current marketing expenses. I have somebody that manages my website, and that could go towards marketing or branding, but I don't have, we're not buying any leads. I don't have any paid advertisements out. I don't have any Google ads. We don't do any of that. Everything comes in.
Wow. And so when you're saying organic, you're saying just basically word of mouth, referrals,
All
online
of those.
traffic, stuff like that.
When I looked at my Google My Business in January, we were being found based on top rated roofing contractor, right? I look
Mm-hmm.
at what is landing people, and we blog about those topics.
So
Obviously the
SEO,
name.
organic.
Yep. SEO is, you have to invest in your SEO, you have to invest in your blogs, you have to pay attention to the trends in your specific area that are bringing people to you, and then maximize that, right? But yeah, we get a lot of it is referral. A lot of it is, we found you came up first one, non-advertised, or whatever it is in the Google search engines. But what we get from customers is we're the only contractors that communicate.
Isn't it crazy?
Last year we went through, I probably 10 different customers said, well, we wanted to choose you, but we kind of had to choose you because nobody else gave us our bid back. What do you say to that? Like,
Oh my God, that's great,
it's
right?
like,
I mean, that's
why
great.
would nobody else even give bids? If you take the time to go out there, why would you not send them an estimate?
Are they just taking too long? I mean, how quick are you getting the estimates out? Is it one of those things by the time they even get to it, you're already closing them out? You think that's what it is, or is it just
No, I
poor
think
business?
I think we have too many sales organizations that don't understand roofing. And
Hmm.
so if they get to a job and it is outside of what they understood, they just dismiss it and go on to the next one where they do understand it. And a lot of the projects that we get called out to are more complicated roofs, or we had one that's both hot and cold because that's what he wanted. So we've got like layers in between layers. Most other people aren't going to put a deck, a 2x4, another deck, right, so that he can have the airflow exactly the way that he wants it, because he was an engineer and this is what he decided he wanted to do. So that's what you do. Most companies aren't going to think that way, or think about
Mm.
the best solution for their situation.
So it's the fundamentals. It's business fundamentals. It's just product knowledge, consultative selling, right? And sometimes if you can get them an estimate in a decent time, that might be good enough to close a job, right? There's no reason to not be winning jobs like that. I mean,
I think a
have
lot
you?
of it too
Oh,
is,
go ahead.
do they know retail margins?
Mm-hmm.
Right? because when I talk to people that are doing insurance proceeds work, I'm like, that's fine. Just make sure whatever margin you need to hit your break even point, you're hitting that on your exactimates too. And that's a hard thing. Well, how do I know that? Well, you have to do a labor order and a material order for the job to understand what you're going to spend, right? So that you understand your costs going into it. And that, I think, is what people don't want to do. They don't want to get
Yeah.
into it and figure out where they need to be. How do they price a retail job? How, if there's not damage on it, I think a lot of people don't bid it.
They get a little bit lost as soon as that
Uh-huh.
insurance aspect isn't part of it, right? So, I mean, do you
Right.
have any suggestions, tips, advice for just approaching a retail job? When you're looking at the profits, how you're making sure you're doing it appropriately to be dialed in on these retail jobs.
You got to ask questions at the inspection. And if the homeowner isn't home, then you want to make sure that you can arrange a phone call to go through and ask those questions. Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
important to you in this project? Why did you choose now? Have you done a construction project in the past? What did you like and not like? That question will give you so much insight into how to proceed with the customer, right? If it was,
Mm-hmm.
hey, our contractor didn't communicate with us enough, now communication's a hot button. And so whatever it is, be on top of the communication. Even if you're
Mm-hmm.
telling them there's been no change, right? Whatever it is, make sure that is their button, you're on top of it, because warranties is not their button, right? So maybe
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to go through a whole bunch on warranties. It's those types of things that we don't do. We don't spend the time to know what they want, so you know how to sell to them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I guess that just goes back to that consultative selling, right? Where you actually have to have an organization that can sell rather than submit, insurance paperwork for a free roof, right? I mean, there's not really a whole lot of skill there. Do you think that's why, like the people in Colorado, they're hesitant to go to that because they have to retrain like in a legitimate sales process and they're hesitant to it? Or is it more just a pushback from their team who's been doing it the same way?
It's both, right?
Mm,
Because the owners are required now, or as an owner or a leader, you're going to have to give your team the skills that they need. And I don't even know if they know where to go.
mm,
Right? Like when we think about sales coaches in our space, who do we got? That's all they're teaching are sales skills,
mm.
not associated with insurance,
Yeah.
not as I can't think. Contractor Coach Pro does some, right? But if you really think about it, that's a missing. We've got a lot of people that have ins and outs to insurance stuff or tricks for that or sales tactics for that, but we don't really have anybody out there teaching. And if they are, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, which is a problem because Nick also doesn't know who you
I
are,
mean, it's fair. Yeah.
which means people don't know, right?
Mm,
So if that person is out there doing that, we have to figure out how to get them back more in front of people, because I think if someone else could teach those skills to people, owners would be less reluctant, but I don't even
I
think they know
agree.
where to start.
It's almost like you have to look for like a outside the industry type source, I feel like.
But that's so hard. It doesn't translate in, right? Like, let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about this. Let's look at solar. Okay. Solar has so many sales coaches. That is,
So many.
yeah. And a solar sales coach probably could do some consultation on in-home sales and price and those things, but they don't advertise really in the roofing space either.
Mhm. It's definitely a missing area, right? And as we see these insurance companies change their processes as they become more and more fun to deal with, it'll be interesting to see if more of those resources come out. So for people who are listening, like, because you're doing consulting too, right? Like what can
Mhm.
you provide value for and kind of help people understand better?
So I work with 4 companies, and they're all different. And they're all in different areas of the country. 2 are solely retail, and 2 are mixed. I don't want necessarily to take on a bunch more coaching clients. Really, I don't have time. I'm probably maxed
So
out
so
between
Jen is not
yeah.
taking your inquiries is what she's telling me. Right? But hey, I'm sure you got content out there, right? You got some
Oh,
content out
there's
there. So
content,
so you guys,
right?
make sure you guys go to YouTube, Facebook, whatever, check out Jen Silver. She's gonna have a
Yeah.
ton. I mean, you've done speeches, you kind of name it for information that they can kind of rely on, I feel like.
Well, and I'm always down to help people. Like if you've got a quick question or something like that, I mean, I answer my phone, I answer texts, I get back to people. I just can't take on anything else full time. But people that
Mm-hmm.
have questions or very like specific things, or hey, can I have an hour of your time? Yeah, I'm always good to do those types of things. It's just I don't think I can take on any more full companies.
I get that.
I would love to see a sales summit. Now, STG kind of does that, right? But I think we really, if we were going to do a sales summit, it would need to be, you went to the one industry, right? So it was very
Mm-hmm.
structured in how it was set up. I would do it the same way where it would talk, be the beginning. Okay, this is how you screen people. These are the questions that you ask. These are why you ask these questions, right? And then it would go into objections, and overcoming objections and sourcing out objections. And then you'd probably go through articulating your company's brand delineator. I can't think off the top of my
Yeah,
head for some
unique
reason, but
selling proposition. What
yes,
what
thank you.
separates you guys?
Yes. And then you put it all together and have them role play, right? Like that's what we really need, because what happens in the events is you get one or two people that talk about one or two points, but then it never completes the conversation. And I understand, I was there, right? You want people to come back and get you again. And so you want them to hire you afterwards. So it's never quite enough information. Whereas I think if we did an actual just training summit, even virtual, and just went through all of these different things step by step by step without there being the add ons at the end, it would work.
I completely agree, and I think you nailed it with the role playing. I just don't think there's enough role playing, right? You look at the best athletes in the world. They review the game film. They see what they did right, what they did wrong. Then they practice. As business owners, leaders, salespeople, there's almost no role playing. I don't know if it's because it's awkward or what, but that's where you really refine the process. Now, I wanted to ask you something too. It's because I'll run into this where I'm telling a contractor out here in Denver will say, "Hey, do the financing approach. Just skip it. You don't have to be an insurance specialist, right? Let them just kind of
Yeah.
handle that on their own." And they're like, well, what if the other contractor does the insurance process for them? For me, that I don't
Hey,
think that
Nick,
really
let me ask
matters,
you a
right?
question.
Yeah, yeah,
This is heaven forbid your home burned down today. Do you know how much you are covered for?
yeah. I don't
No,
know
you
actually.
don't. I guarantee you don't.
Yeah,
No,
I
none of
don't.
us do really, right?
Uh,
But you ask a homeowner that, they're gonna know. Okay, so if you allow another contractor to do it for you, are you going to learn anything about that? I want to support you through this. Okay, absolutely. But I also want you to learn about what you're paying for and how to buy your homeowner's insurance the right way going forward. Do you have the
mm-hmm.
endorsements or the exclusions that you need? Do you have the proper coverage? If I do all of that, you'll never understand it. I know that you know what your
Mm-hmm.
deductible is for your car. I know you know how it works if you make a claim on your car insurance, your medical insurance too. Most people don't understand their homeowner's insurance. And
I
I
do like
want
that
you,
approach.
right? It
I
works
do
really
like.
well because it is scary. And the majority of people's coverage really just covers their mortgage because
Mhm.
that's all legally they're required to, right? It really, you have homeowners insurance for your bank. So if you're wanting to have your homeowner's insurance for you, well, you better make sure it actually covers rebuilding the home and the contents inside, or the things that at least are valuable to you that you would want to be able to replace, right? Because if you're in a $700,000 home because it's appreciated, right?
Mhm.
It's just gone up, but you only owe 400 grand and your insurance covers 400 grand, your house burns down, you only get 400 grand to go buy another house,
Yeah.
right? And it all goes to the mortgage. What do you have? You have
Mhm.
nothing.
Nothing.
And I think, to me, that's the biggest disservice that we as roofing contractors have done for homeowners and handling it for them. We've made it so they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to know, which gives insurance companies the ability to change policy and do the things that they're doing much easier. And not all things they've changed have been bad. It might be harder for us as contractors, but some of the things do help and support consumers.
Yeah.
But they don't even understand that.
Yeah. So you're almost teeing it up as, hey, this is an opportunity for you to figure out this stuff you really need to figure out anyways for your protection.
Yeah, I'm going to be
Right.
here to help and support you in the background. I'm just not going to do it for you.
I like that. I like that approach for sure. I mean, when the heck did contractors become insurance experts? Like, when did they start to get involved in this process, anyways? You know what I
From
mean?
what
Like,
I've been told is mid to late, like early 2000s. So about
yeah,
2005, 2006 to like 2008 is when things really started to shift.
yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't in the industry then, but that's just
So,
what.
somewhat recently, still though, probably when there
Yeah,
was more
within the
issues with
last
the
20
insurance.
years. Now the insurance proceeds, I understand, started switching over later in the 90s into
Yeah.
doing the Exactimate and doing that. But prior to that, it was always done with you give a bid and this is what they do. Like
Hmm.
contractors didn't get into Exactimate. In my opinion, it should be illegal for contractors to use Exactimate because it
Yeah.
enables them.
Yeah.
I do believe that it is good for insurance companies to have a gauge, right? If this is the market median, which is, I think, how it was designed, this
Hmm.
contractor's right in that line. Okay, that's reasonable, right? No, this is twice as much as market average. Okay, this estimate might not be reasonable. And we should educate our homeowner to go out and get a few more estimates,
Yeah.
right? But it was switched somewhere along the way because Exactament can be very lucrative when written properly, especially if there's steep charges or story charges, because what Exactament says and what we pay are different, right? But again, people don't understand their margins and they're solely basing it off of revenue, and that's why we have the reputation as roofing contractors.
Yep. So, Jen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm gonna have you close it out, but are we gonna start to see you a little bit? Are you hiding from us? Did we
Oh no.
annoy you pretty quickly, and you're like, I'm out, and you went in hiding, or what? Are you gonna make any kind of celebrity appearances over here, or what?
Oh, I'll be at Wealth Builder.
Oh, really?
One of my clients I coach, we're going together. He's a master elite to just kind of strategize and look for some things for the next year. So anybody that's going to Wealth Builder, I will be there. And it happens to be in Salt Lake, which makes it super convenient for me.
Very convenient.
I will be, I'm guessing at IRE next year, and I'll be doing a lot more with the roof rejuve and getting that launched and out and training videos and things like that. Plus, I'm going to be planning a wedding. So I got a busy year.
Woo-woo.
Yes, you will see me. Maybe not as much as I was in the past, but yes, I will be there and out there and talking to people and all the fun stuff.
Well, Jen, hey, first off, congrats on the engagement. Very happy
Thank
for
you.
you. Congrats on all the success, new products going on, and everything. It's been an absolute pleasure to hang out with you. I need you to close down this episode. It could be words of wisdom, it could be a quote, it could be a life lesson, it could be something you're thinking about for all I care, whatever it might be. Close them down, and then make sure you tell them to like, subscribe, and share for me too, Jen.
Of course. I think I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote, which is from the Lorax. So, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. And
Mm,
that just reminds us that even as individuals, we can make a difference, and our voice does echo and is heard. You don't always know by who, but it does continue the ripple effect. So, continue to make differences. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this podcast because Nick is awesome and he's bringing you some of the best information in the industry.